Hello everyone and welcome to the last part in Unit 8, Urban and Rural Life. Today we're going to complete with the activity book. So open your book on page 49 and let's study together. Grammar. Comparing and contrasting. Question 1. Complete these sentences with one of these comparing or contrasting words or phrases. Use each word or phrase once. Instead of, in comparison with, but, whereas. In comparison with Seoul in South Korea, Paris, the capital of France, is quite a small city. لاحظوا إنه عنا مقارنة بين عاصمة كوريا وعاصمة فرنسا. Whereas Seoul has a population of over 10 million people, Paris only has 2 million. طالما كلمة المقارنة موجودة ببداية الجمل فلازم نستخدم whereas بينما. I've decided to learn Chinese instead of French at university. Chinese grammar is not too difficult, but the pronunciation will be very hard for me. استخدمنا كلمة الربط المناسبة حسب ترجمة الجملة. Question 2. Match the sentences A to D with the corresponding sentences 1 to 4 below. Then write in new sentences using the word or phrase in brackets. Damascus is the cultural and economic hub of Syria. Brasilia is small compared with cities like Rio de Janeiro. Damascus is a very old city. There are modern areas with many new buildings. Damascus developed naturally over thousands of years. هلأ رح نستعين بهدول الجمل لنعمل ربط مع جمل تانية. Let's start with A. Damascus is the largest city in Syria. أي جملة بتناسب هي الجملة من الجمل اللي قرأناها من شوي؟ Number 2. Brasilia is small compared with cities like Rio de Janeiro. هلأ رح نستخدم كلمة الربط but لنربط بين هدول الجملتين. Damascus is the largest city in Syria, but Brasilia is small compared with cities like Rio de Janeiro. لاحظوا أني بس حطيت كلمة الربط بالنص. Brasilia is not the major cultural and economic center of Brazil. We're going to use whereas. أي جملة من الجمل اللي قرأناها بالأول بتناسب هاي الجملة؟ عم نحكي عن كونها مركز. Number 1. Damascus is the cultural and economic hub of Syria. We can say, Brasilia is not the major cultural and economic center of Brazil, whereas Damascus is the cultural and economic hub of Syria. بس رح نحط كلمة الربط بالنص. Brasilia was designed by an architect in the 20th century. We're going to connect this sentence with sentence number 4. Damascus developed naturally over thousands of years. We're going to use the word while. So you can say, Brasilia was designed by an architect in the 20th century, while Damascus developed naturally over thousands of years. Brasilia is a very modern city. We're going to connect this sentence with sentence number 3. Damascus is a very old city. There are modern areas with many new buildings. So you can say, Brasilia is a very modern city, and although Damascus is a very old city, there are modern areas with many new buildings. Now let's move on to the writing. Describing places to live. Question number 1. Match these descriptions A to C with the correct pictures 1 to 3. This architect-designed house has 2 stories and is located in a village 2 kilometers from the sea. It has a tiled roof, which provides shady areas on both the ground floor and first floor. The house is surrounded by a colorful garden, which has been well looked after. The property overlooks a luxurious swimming pool. انتبهوا للكلمات المعلمة. الكلمات المعلمة باللون الأحمر بتحكي عن الموقع اللوكيشن. أما الكلمات المعلمة بالأسود فهي part of the buildings، هي من أجزاء المبنى. الكلمات المعلمة باللون الأخضر هي description، صفات بنستخدمها لوصف المنزل. أما الكلمات الملونة باللون الأخضر فبتحكي عن الخصائص الطبيعية الموجودة natural features. Description A can be connected with picture 2. B. This 2-story modern house is situated on the outskirts of a medium-sized town. It is surrounded by a large garden, trees, shrubs, and hedges. It has a flat roof, and there are balconies outside the first-floor windows. It is painted white, and there are no other houses nearby. Description B can be connected with picture 3. C. This 2-story modern building is located in a residential area in the suburbs of a large city. It has a small garden with recently planted trees and shrubs. The property is surrounded by a low wall, which separates it from a quiet street. The house has a flat roof. This description can be connected with picture 1. Now question 2. Read the descriptions again and make lists of the following. لما بنكتب وصف لبيت لازم نعتمد على 4 نقاط. Location موقع المنزل، Description الوصف، Part of the buildings أجزاء المبنى، natural features الصفات الطبيعية الموجودة فيه. رح نحدد هلأ الصفات اللي قرأناها بالنص. 1. Words and phrases used to describe where the houses are located. For example, we can say, is located in a village 2 kilometers from the sea. حددنا موقع البيت. Here we're talking about the location, الموقع. We can also say, is situated on the outskirts of a medium-sized town. Is located in a residential area in the suburbs of a large city. 2. Adjectives used to describe the buildings and gardens. For example, architect designed. Here we're talking about the description, الوصف. We can use other words like tiled roof, shady, colorful, well looked after, luxurious, 2-story, modern, medium-sized, large, flat roof, painted, residential, small, recently, planted, low wall, quiet. كلها عبارة عن صفات. Number 3. Nouns for different parts of the buildings. For example, 2 stories. عم نحدد نوع البناء والطوابق والشكل. Here we're talking about parts of the buildings. For example, we can say roof, ground floor, first floor, garden, swimming pool, balconies, windows, wall. كلها كلمات إلها علاقة بالمبنى. At last we have nouns for different natural features. For example, we can say trees. Those are natural features. We can also say lawn, shrubs, hedges. Now, write your own description of a building you know well. It could be the building you live in. Use the descriptions in exercise 1 as models and include the following: the location of the building, the appearance of the outside of the building, information about any natural features near the building. Use words and phrases like those you listed in exercise 2 above. Write 50 to 60 words. إذا منقدر نعتمد على 3 مقاطع اللي قريناها هلأ، ولازم نتضمن الأفكار الرئيسية اللي حكينا عنها بالتمرين الثاني. That's everything for today. Hope you like the lesson. See you next time.